Prefix operator overloading. So, prefix means it comes before the operand and postfix means it comes after the operand. So, in prefix operator overloading, it resembles like this. The operator comes before the operand, either plus plus and then the operand, or minus minus and then the operand. In prefix and postfix, normally we have only increment and decrement operators. That is, they do the work of either increasing the value of the operand by 1 or decreasing the value of the operand by 1. Similarly, in postfix, the operator comes behind the operand. So, this also we have increment and decrement. This will increment the value of the operand by 1 and minus minus decrements. Now, the operator function, we have already seen what is an operator function, the function which defines the extra work that an operator should do. That operator function which does not have an argument is taken by the compiler to be the function for a prefix operator, because see, there has to be some way the compiler should differentiate between a prefix and a postfix function. So, if the operator function is not having an argument, the compiler takes it to be a prefix operator function, and if the operator is having an argument, then the compiler takes it to be a function for the postfix operator. So, we will see using an example program how the two functions are invoked by the compiler. Again, you are having a class called over, you are having one data member which is of private type and is an integer variable. You are having two constructors in the public section of the class. One constructor is not having any argument, the other constructor is having an argument. So, this is only the concept of constructor overloading, two constructors with the same name as the class, but they differ in the parameters they carry. And then you have defined two operator functions in this class. Both are increment operators, one is not having any argument. Now, here if you see, there is no argument for this function, it is empty. The next is having one argument of type integer, but both are operator functions of the operator plus plus. So, this is only called operator overloading function. Everything is same except the number of parameters. One is not having an argument, the other is having an integer argument. That is only called operator overloading. Then you have a function called show, that is, we all know, to display the result. So, the functions have been declared over here. Now, we have to define each of these functions. So, you are defining the first constructor, you know it is only to initialize the value of the members. There is only one data member of type integer, that is n. So, initializing its value to 0. Then you have another constructor with one argument. This argument will be given from the main function and you are initializing the value of the data member to that particular value. So, the work of the two constructors, the initialization job is done. Next, we have to define the function for these operators. So, we all know that the increment operator increases the value of the operand by 1. Now, this function is for the prefix operator. We know that a prefix operator first increases the value of the variable and then only displays the result. So, in this operator function, you have to make use of a temporary variable. The temporary variable should be an object. So, how are we going to create an object? Class name followed by object name. So, that is what is done over here, class name followed by this object t. So, the variable or the operand which has to be increased in its value is associated with this particular object t. So, what are we doing over here? This is the data member of the class. We are increasing the value of this member by 1 because this is a increment function. Then we are assigning this value to this temporary object and then we are returning this object to the main function or the function which called it. So, we have to remember that the operator functions are declared and defined with respect to classes, but they are called from the main function using an object. So, when they are called from the main function, this particular data member is associated with that object. So, we have to increase the value of the number and we have to assign that value to the object and then we have to return that object's value. So, that is what is done over here. Here we are returning the object, return t. T is nothing but an object, that is why the return type is also here of type class, because an object belongs to a class type. So, these are the things that are to be kept in mind when we are overloading an operator and defining an operator function.